Hello and welcome to the I Love You Bet podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister,
Rian. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us,
sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but...
I think I might be the reason Kitten disappeared.
Kitten disappeared?
Yeah.
Oh, Heather.
Well, apparently peppermint oil is toxic to cats, which they really should tell you when they try to sell it to you to get rid of mice.
What? Where did you put it?
I put one in the garage because I saw a mouse running behind the thing the other day. But there's also one on the side of the house where the hole is, and one in the back of the house where the hole is, and one in the back of the house by the fountain because mice, and I'd rather not have them all die. I'd rather encourage them to leave. But
well, you killed Kitten instead?
Well, we haven't seen her. I mean, she may have just run away to get away from it. So I'm going to go get all the ones that aren't up in the attic and put them away. And because I'd rather have dead mice than dead cats. So,
I mean, she's old. She's probably going to die soon anyways.
So anyway, fun way to start our show. Sorry, probably should have waited on that.
That's okay. I mean, when are you taking Sadie in while we're at it?
Yeah, I gotta call the lady and have her come to the house.
It's gonna be the best podcast ever.
How'd you waste time this week, Hermana?
I don't even know. Sorry. I watched all of My Lady Grey on Prime.
Is that any good?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's got good people, so, you know. Like, I just started watching it because I was like, oh, period thing, hot boy. And then, you know, like, what's his name's in it, and you get to see his butt a lot, which was nice.
What's his name's butt? It's a good butt.
It's the one, we like him a lot. He was in An Education. He was the other guy in An Education. He was in Mamma Mia.
I know who you're talking about. Cooper? Cooper something?
Dominic Cooper. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's great. And not just because you get to see his ass a lot. Yeah, no, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I like literally just shoved my child and partner out the door to get out of my face. Get this child over by me.
It's day one of mommy camp. How are you going to get through this?
I'm just getting really I'm getting very easily frustrated with him because it's hot and my legs and my knees hurting a lot I'm on my period. It's just like the perfect storm. Like
yesterday I had to tell the Eddie group to send Eddie funny memes because I was not in a good mood to deal with him. So like it's too hot.
To like cheer him up from his to counteract being around you, or
to counteract me being so grumpy. But it's like his Wi-Fi isn't working and my Wi-Fi isn't. I mean, it's like a whole thing, and I'm so tired of talking about it. But anyway, it's fine. I watched part of The Veil, starring Elizabeth Moss, on Hulu, and it's been very, very good. So I've enjoyed that so far. And I watched a relatively new movie, Richard Linklater's latest, called HITMAN, with the dude that's apparently from Texas who's been in a bunch of stuff, and he's going to be the star of Twisters and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting to watch that and then immediately watch Little Shop of Horrors afterwards, so we can talk about that.
Okay.
I didn't think that those two movies would have anything in common. And yet.
And yet. I watched it last night after Elliot fell asleep in 5 minutes from all of his birthday festivities.
Good job on having a 5th birthday party for your kid.
Oh my God. Becky came out in full force multiple times throughout the party.
Oh, I thought Becky was gone.
Oh, Becky's not gone. No, Becky's not gone. He got to go to his first press conference today and meet the mayor.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Today was the press conference day.
Yeah.
How was it?
There's no reason for me to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fine. It was fun for him.
Okay.
It was just really hot, and I just stood there while a bunch
Was
of
it
other people.
outside?
No.
Oh.
The building that the city offices are in is a very, very old historic building. Like, the fire alarm went off at one point for no reason, and then apparently the elevators weren't working, and it was like super hot, even though it's not even that hot here today. It's like in the 70s or something.
So you know how at work they made all of us come back to work, and a lot of people are real salty about it.
Yeah.
I was in my office, and all of a sudden I heard Corinne, because if she's anywhere near me, I can hear her. And she was talking to another coworker, and they were like, "What's behind this door?" And they were like, "We don't know." And then Corinne was like, "Well, maybe it's the water heater." And the other person goes, "I'm going to be really mad if the water heater gets its own office and I have to share." Because it's a really old building too, and it used to be like a breezeway building, like our elementary school was, and then they enclosed the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they finally found somebody who had a key to open it. The mystery of behind the door, it was a sink, like an art sink, which is next to the
closet with a sink.
What?
Like, it's just a closet with a sink in it?
Yeah, it's like yes, it's a closeted sink.
Well, that is the definition of a wash closet.
So then Corinne decided that we should fill that sink with ice and put watermelon back there. And I was like, that actually sounds pretty good. But not if we close the door, because then all the mice will come back. I'd be like,
well, now you know where to put your peppermint things instead of trying to kill mom's cat.
Not trying to kill any cats. You're stressing me out. Speaking of, our mother started taking anti-anxiety medication yesterday.
Oh, she got it? She started taking it?
She's super stressed about it.
She has anxiety about taking her anxiety medicine.
But it made her really tired yesterday. She's fatigued all day long. And then she's upset because she's not supposed to take non-steroidal anti-inflammatory over-the-counter drugs, which is what she takes because of her knee pain that she also won't get real medication for. Or see an acupuncturist or a chiropractor or anybody else about. Just suffers. And not suffer silently. I have to hear this shit. You want to suffer silently? Fine. Otherwise, do something about it or shut the fuck up. God damn. And then she'll be like, I take one naproxen. And I'm like, why? What is
that's why? Like that?
You're not a child. You don't deserve it.
Wait, so like she can't take them with her anti-anxiety medicine?
Supposedly. And the fucking nurse practitioner put her on some brand new one that was like, I'm not even sure if your insurance is going to cover this. And I'm like, why didn't you just tell her which one I take? Well, how would I know which one you take? I texted you Friday morning on your way to the appointment to tell you what I take so that you could tell her. Well, why would she ask me that? I said, your daughter asked me the exact same thing. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Every single time I've ever seen a doctor and said, I have anxiety, the first thing they ask me is, does anyone else in your family have anxiety? And what do they fucking take? Okay.
To be fair, I have also seen a lot of doctors and been prescribed multiple mental health medicines. No one has ever asked me that.
Why not?
Because it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing. Like, we are all on different medicine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on Prozac.
I've been on Prozac. You don't even know what you're on.
It's been a year of a lot of changes, so... I had an appointment with my psychiatrist this morning. I had Elliot trying to climb on top of my shoulders. I was like, honey, I need like 2 minutes. Like, this is a 10-minute appointment that I pay $130 for. Like, I'm very close to being like, lady, like, why do we need to keep doing this? Like, can my doctor not just keep prescribing this? Listen, we're not changing the dosage.
You should only have to see her every, 90 days. How often are you talking to her?
This was the longest. So today, and then the last time I talked to her was the beginning of May, and then the next time I'm talking to her is like the end of August. Yeah,
you should be able to push it to 90 days. So you need to ask them about
But even then, my prescriptions are only 30 days. Like every 30 days, every month I have to call, I have to send in a request to get her.
Well, I don't know what that's about, but
I don't know. I'll probably push it because I feel like they just want money. So I may message her and be like, hey, can we, this is expensive. I meant to talk to her about it today, but then Elliot was being crazy. So, Not crazy. He was being 5. And an only child that can't entertain
Oh,
himself.
I did want to say, I forgot to say, so at Elliot's 5th birthday party that happened in Texas,
Yes.
I got real worried because we only had a few limes and Mom started chopping them, and I was like, uh-oh, they're going to be those useless units of limes.
Like, did she start chopping the tiny limes?
Ladies and gentlemen, they were useful wedges of limes. I'm so proud of her. I have no idea why she changed. I don't imagine that she listened to the podcast or anyone told her, but it was growth. I was very impressed.
Okay, so when did she start taking the medication?
Sunday, aka
Okay.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And making her tired? Is that what the thing is today?
Yeah, no, yesterday she was fatigued. She felt fatigued all day long.
Well, baby, you're like 60-something years old. Like,
well, also, like, it doesn't work that way.
yeah, no, it doesn't.
And anti-anxiety medication has been around a long time. Why would they prescribe her something new? She an old bitch. Give her the old shit. Like, the old shit works. There's nothing wrong with it. Like,
I mean, she did say that the nurse practitioner was like, look, if there's so many different medicines, it does not have to be this one.
why is it gonna be so hot? We're all gonna die.
I don't know. I've also wasted a lot of time this week being very conflicted about the Supreme Court and like not trying to tell people.
I know. I was like, damn, I'm sorry your internship ended because today would have been a real interesting day to be there. Like,
yeah, it's just hard because it's like I don't want to be that like pedantic asshole that like learned something new and now I'm like, I know everything.
mm-hmm. I have a roll of stickers that I cut up that I was ready to send out to people to be like, it's not a popularity contest, it's a chess match. Just vote. And now I'm like, I can't send those. I can't. Like,
Why?
because our president is funding a genocide.
Oh yeah.
And the other one's just a fucking asshole shit turd. I can't with either one of them. The whole system is completely fucked. I cannot encourage people to participate.
Yeah.
That's like it's not working.
I know when I posted the thing about Elliot covering his ears every time Ben and I talk about politics, I'm wondering like, are people thinking we're fighting? And I'm like, no, we just raise our voices because we get so like
it's incredibly frustrating. Yeah. I mean, it's like everything feels like that right now, which is not helpful. Nobody wants to listen to this. I'm cutting it all out. What did you remember about Little Shop of Horrors from 1986?
I feel like I remembered a good deal. Rick Moranis, Steve Martin, Crazy Dentist, Audrey 2. Audrey, I did think that the woman who played Audrey was Amanda Plummer.
She looks like Amanda Plummer with the wig.
She was not. Mm-hmm. I remember something about them like what's that red stuff? And he's like, oh, I spilled high C or Hawaiian punch or something like in the bag. I remember nitrous oxide. I remember going to see a live production of this at Denton High School with Dad that I'm assuming Richard Skiles directed. And I feel like it was like during the day because I remember like school bells going off during the performance.
Cool.
But and I remember Firmissimo. So that would be, yeah.
I feel like I remember you being afraid of it, but maybe it's just me going, well, it's a big puppet plant, so I bet she was afraid.
I remember being afraid of it, and it didn't make me like super uncomfortable last night. I will say I did kind of start fast forwarding through the songs like towards the end because I was very tired.
It's okay.
I was like, movie does not need to be this long.
It's only 90 minutes, so yeah.
It did not need to be that long.
Yeah. I think the stage play was shorter, maybe not. I don't know. What
did you remember? So you thought I was afraid of it?
Yeah, I remember Suddenly Seymour, Feed Me. I remember there was a man-eating plant. I remember a deranged dentist, Steve Martin, Rick Moranis. I remember also seeing a stage production of this, but it was at a theater conference one of the years that Abney had to host. And I remember being so impressed because they had the shop on like a like a Lazy Susan, whatever that's called in the theater world. When the whole
yeah. The
and
rotating stage.
yeah, when they turned it for the second
I
act,
remember that.
some pieces fell off, and the kid that played Seymour was like, "Oh, forgive us, we're under construction," and like picked the pieces up. And I was like,
I remember that, yeah.
nice cover, kid. And I remember he was like perfectly cast. Like it was, you can tell with like anybody who's good at high school theater, they just look at the kids and go, "Yep, you, we've got an Othello. You, we got a Seymour. You, we've got a fucking Olivia Newton-John for Grease or whatever." Like they just like.
You think with Othello, it's like, oh, you're the one black kid, and then okay.
So well, where we went to high school, yeah, but
yes,
was probably not.
I remember that one. I was in middle. I think I was in middle school when that, but we went with Gossett. Took some of us. That was a fun time.
I always wondered because I get how they pick the kids.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, say hi to your daughter.
Oh, hi. I didn't know if I should say anything or not.
I'll cut it out.
Mom's on the pod.
Mom's on the pod. I won't cut it out.
What do you remember about Little Shop of Horrors?
I already asked her. It's no good.
Very little.
She doesn't remember the 80s.
I didn't like it.
She didn't like it.
Too many diet pills.
Too many diet pills.
Too many unregulated diet pills.
That was more when I was in college.
Yes.
I say.
Then we came around, it didn't matter. I wondered how those theater teachers picked who was going to be on the main stage. Because it's not like they were sending each other like live feeds of the production. And they wouldn't have had the production ready in time to have, it's not like Abby was driving around Texas.
Who they could trust.
What?
Like, they probably knew.
Yeah, it must have been trust. Like they were like, this is good. It's going to have to be on, I was just.
You have to have a reputation as a teacher that they would be like.
Yeah.
Yeah. This does remind me, can I tell you about it one more way I wasted time?
Yeah.
I wasted time going to see the Elliot's theater camp production of Frozen.
No, that was really, really good and didn't hurt my ears at all watching that video. Oh.
It was so bad.
It was terrible.
It was so terrible.
I know Lexington has created talented people. Musically talented.
Yeah. I was
sisters,
like,
even Trask, other people.
Well, I mean, it's the high school, but like even the high school, like they were the ones that got to do, so they like won the rights to be the first high school in Kentucky to perform the full Broadway version of Frozen. And they didn't have functioning microphones. Like their like headset microphones kept going out. So like one kid like wouldn't be working, but then someone backstage would be back there and they'd be like, my mic's not working. So you could like hear kids talking on their mics backstage. It was such a shit show.
I mean, I know we weren't that great, but we had people who could sing. Like,
yeah, I was very confused as to like how they did that casting. Like a couple of them could.
I don't know. Let It Go is a hard song. That is a hard song to sing, but it also is a song all of us have heard. But also, many times.
The girl that played older Elsa was these are my two favorite things. So she did not have a blonde wig. She had a white wig and like a sweater and then these oversized gloves. And she like kept her hands together. And I was like, baby, you're just giving me Bubby. There's no Elsa. This is just Bubby. And she kind of even like was like, you can't marry a man. It was crazy. And then the other girl that played whatever the other one was like just acted with her hands.
No, I'm acting with my hands.
Everything was with their hands.
I'm on stage, so I need to act with my whole body.
And like when the younger ones would forget their lines and another one would be like whispering it to them, but their phone was on. And then my child, I was like, what were you doing? Like we were watching the video today and he was like, my butt itched.
Nice.
He's like a foot shorter than everybody else. No, it was hilarious. It was the best $3 ticket I've ever. It was great. It was great. I was like, why are we doing every song?
Yeah. I couldn't have
Yeah, it was good. Ben got on his phone at one point. I was like, dude, like, come on.
Oh yeah, that's a little.
No, it's fine.
But it did remind me of like all the theater cons and like all the ridiculous amount of exhibitionism that went on with all those fucking theater kids like trucking our asses across the state in buses and like showing up Saturday mornings like busting out Disney songs at the top of our lungs. Like,
dude, they don't do that here. Like, they don't go to theater competitions.
Well, remember we looked at this because Texas has UIL.
It's UIL, yeah.
So I don't know what Kentucky has.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. It's sad.
Oh, it's sad. I mean, it sounds like they need some competition.
Yeah. I was like, don't we have Scappa? Like, what the hell? Like, where?
Yeah, I don't know how they got the rights to sing all that stuff. That was the whole thing.
Well, that's what I was saying. They won the competition, so they had like.
They used it for that?
No, they performed like the school performed it. The high schoolers performed it. But since they had it, they could do it again. And
that's not how it works. Just because you get it one time doesn't mean you get to do it again. Unless they got some magical wizard to write that contract. Like, that is not how it works. They're serious about those contracts. Remember, we couldn't do hair because we wouldn't get naked. Texas.
Why would they ever even give you the contract? Like, what high school is going to be like, yep, we're going to be naked? Like,
there's high schools that get naked.
I mean, they get naked in my high school, but not on stage. Just like,
just on video and for the entire night forever. Hey, I love the chorus girls. They made me really happy.
Yes. Did you
recognize watch that documentary 20 Feet from Stardom?
No.
Oh. You should watch the documentary 20 Feet from Stardom.
Okay. I was going to ask if you recognized any of the chorus girls.
Well, apparently 2 of them were on Martin. I didn't recognize
Yes,
them.
they were. You didn't realize that?
No.
Oh, man.
Girl, how fucking dumb was I that I didn't even realize the hooligans and the chorus girls were the same actresses? Like, that's not a very smart child. But they're wearing pretty dresses and they're wearing boring brown clothes. They can't be the same people. Like, nope.
Oh, I meant this time around. Okay, this time around, you knew they were the same people.
Immediately this time around.
Okay. Yeah. But even then, like, watching this, I was like, my... And, like, as soon as I saw, like, I mean, I recognized Tisha Campbell first, and then I, like, looked over and I was like, hey, you too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. It's hot outside. Leave me alone.
It's fine.
I highly recommend that you watch 20 Feet from Stardom.
Okay.
And be super impressed when they do what they call the naked vocals of Mary Clayton, who sang for Gimme Shelter. So she sang that rape, murder, you're just a shot.
Oh, like right there at the beginning?
Well, throughout, and then at the end, and then later, that it's like happy smiles or whatever. Anyway, but watch that. I'll send you the link just so you can watch that portion on YouTube. Okay. You should watch the whole video though, and then I'll tell you something that made me so sad because I was like, I got to make sure I get the documentary right, and then I want to make sure I get the singer's name right because I remember it was Gimme Shelter, and I know it was a woman who was like a backup singer, but I don't remember her name, so I was like looking up all the names, and then I got to Wikipedia, and it was like, and then this happened, and I was like, what?
Wait, so you're not going to tell me now?
No, because it'll be too hard to watch. I feel like John Waters might have used this to get Hairspray made. What do you think?
Yeah, or this was like really coming off of some like Rocky Horror fandom or something. Like it gave me some major Rocky Horror vibes.
Yeah, so the original movie was Roger Corman from 1960.
Yeah,
and then they did the off-Broadway
musical movie, right?
Movie, off-Broadway musical movie, yes. And then Broadway musical now.
Okay, and then Broadway musical.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was like, why the lead's got to be white? But I will tell you, after trying to find stuff on Instagram to post about this, there are a lot of times where it's just Seymour who's white and Audrey's black. So that was nice.
Well, that's what life's like. Don't get
Skid Row, what a shithole.
And then, like, I think at the very end, when it's like fucking something out of a zombie movie, when they're like climbing up the goddamn fence at him. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, that was scary. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was.
I was
scary.
worried about you. What kind of floral shop doesn't have any plants on display at all?
What the fuck? Like that? Where are the flowers? Like, no wonder you don't have any customers. You don't have any goddamn flowers.
They were all in the basement with Seymour. Like, what the fuck?
Apparently, you're like in a cooler somewhere. I don't know. And then suddenly, and also, how do all these poor ass people in Skid Row suddenly have money for flowers?
Oh, you noticed it was all like white uptown people who showed up.
Yeah, I guess coming downtown to get some ugly ass fake flowers.
But I loved that white man that walked in and was like, where did this unusual plant come from? And like he just kept responding the perfect way to everything. Like,
I mean,
Christopher
Guest?
I guess I'll just buy 200, whatever. I was like, this is so, you could never do it again. Like it works one time and you can never do that again. That bit is gone, but it was beautiful.
You know that was Christopher Guest.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
I did write at the end Chris Guest because I saw him in the list of like cast.
Yeah, because when I was looking through it said first customer Christopher Guest. So.
It said first customer, but for some reason I was thinking for the dentist, and then I was trying to figure out where he was in the chair in the dentist, and that was very so. Yep. My favorite chorus line. You ready for it? Nope. Da-doo.
That's your favorite line?
In the chorus.
Oh.
So they're doing a Dadu song, and then they're like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nope. And they nope, Dadu. Made me really happy.
Maybe I'll start responding to Elliot that way. Instead of telling him no, I'm just going to go, nope, Dadu.
I like calling him a no good Nick. That made me happy.
Oh, a what?
The guy that owned the place, Munchnick or whatever his name was.
Oh yeah.
He referred to Steve Martin as a no good Nick.
Are we gonna talk about the portrayal of the Chinese shop owner?
I was wondering about that. I know that was an Indian
Yeah. Hello, blatantly racist portrayal of blatantly racist portrayals.
I mean, it's not as bad as Andy Rooney or Mickey Rooney or whatever his name was in fucking Breakfast at Tiffany's, but it wasn't a whole lot better.
Wasn't great. Great.
No.
Like, I'm sure that in the 60s, yes, that's, also how they would have portrayed it, but
yeah.
Like, we deserve to have a giant plant from Alien come and try to eat us all. Like, come on.
I have some thoughts.
Oh.
But first, I would like to remind you that Shelly gave me an orchid for my birthday, which is an obligation and not a gift. But it allowed me to permit myself to buy one of those delicate, fancy-ass plant sprayers. And whenever I use it, I feel super feminine. Like, probably the only time in my life that I feel feminine
I want you to start
is when I'm like,
dainty
spray.
Yeah, like I want to start seeing Instagram reels where you like make a completely bright white room where you spray your white orchid with that like and you got like the ASMR like where you do all the bits like and then you take like a cup of coffee and you go and you sip and you're like
Hashtag karma.
I feel bad. Like the thing I hate most, like I like getting recipes on Instagram, but every time you watch somebody make something and then they eat it and they're like, so good. Like, of course you think it's good. Like,
yeah.
But they all are like,
that would be a really good one if you did that and then it was like, no. The only one I've ever watched all the way through is that one where that girl unmade pasta. Did you see that one?
No.
She was like, I went to Italy and this is what they showed me what to do with pasta. And she literally took pasta and like put it in a food processor, and then remade it into pasta.
Oh shit. Okay, yes, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I was just like, this can't be right. And
I
I
saw
kept
one the other
watching it. I
day.
was like, this is so fucking weird. This can't be right. And then I see the comments and they're like, what are you doing? This isn't really fucking weird. I was like, okay, this is a really weird thing.
There was one the other day I saw where someone basically made mashed potatoes, but with Pringles.
Yeah.
Like they boiled 3 cans of Pringles. And I'm like, I can't tell if this is a joke. Like, what is
I
even
know. That was the thing. Like, was the pasta girl real? Was that a real thing? Or was she kidding?
I have no idea. And that's
Here's
why
what I
hate
do
it.
know. WSKID radio waiting room looks like the Beetlejuice in heaven waiting room.
Yes, it
Or
does.
hell, or wherever they
It
were.
really does.
Oh no.
John Candy. All I wrote down about that scene was John Candy WTF.
So he was gonna play Munchnik, I think.
Mm.
For some reason he didn't want to, or I don't know, something. But so then he like just played the DJ. And he got to do his wacky
I was just like, what the fuck is even happening? See, again, not a necessary scene. Like, cut that shit out. Like,
This movie has a lot of polka dots. I wasn't sure how you felt about that, but there were a lot of polka dots.
I don't think I noticed. I don't mind polka dots.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Annette Funicello wore a lot of polka dots in Back to the Beach, so I figured you were pro polka dot.
Mm-hmm.
Is this movie a warning about capitalism and consumer culture?
Probably. I mean, isn't everything a warning about capitalism and consumer culture?
So there was the whole Skid Row number
Yeah.
about how you're a whore during the day. Yeah. Like all that.
Like you can't get out. Like there's no way out.
Mm-hmm. And then Audrey's whole dream life is literally lifted from a Better Homes and Gardens magazine.
Yeah.
How
Yes.
fucked up is that?
Yeah.
She can't even think of her own real dream. It's like magazine dream. And then later she talks about working at the gutter with not nice men and all that, whatever.
The gutter?
The gutter?
The gutter?
The gutter. Sorry, yes.
What is that from? Because I remember that from something where they're like, the gutter, the gutter, the gutter, the gutter. No?
Listeners, please write in and let us know, because I have no idea. And then, of course, there's the whole giving of literal blood to keep the shop open.
Well, but not just that, like to also be famous and, you know, like, but it's weird because then he's like never wanted it, but then he's like apologizing for it at the end. Like,
I feel like he didn't want to be famous. He just wanted to have the money. I don't know if he really ever wanted it, the fame that came with it. So,
but did he really want the money?
He wanted the money so that he could help Audrey and be worthy of her, I guess. Plus Munchnik, like he was gonna close the shop. He was like, where do I go? Yeah,
because things turned out way better for Munchnik.
Does the chorus allow this movie to pass the Bechdel test?
Do they talk to each other or do they only sing to each? Well, yeah, because there's the scene where they tell her to like when they're like, girl, that guy sucks. Like, stop. But they're talking about a man, so that doesn't pass the Bechdel test. Oh.
But they do sing about Skid Row, so there's that.
No, I think the music was the only thing, even though I started like fast forwarding through the songs, but they were like the later songs.
I like
basically like when the plant starts singing, I was like,
yeah, the plant was too much. I couldn't with the plant. I think that's why I've never liked this movie. Is to me the plant was just like I wish the plant had been more like Little Richard or something. Like there's just something about that specific version of the plant where it was like I don't know, too much. No.
Damn.
I'm just kidding. You keep acting like I'm the podcast dictator, so I just decided to tell you no.
I saw your face when I tried to get Mom engaged on the podcast. I remember thinking, I was like, oh, she's so mad at me right now.
I wasn't mad. I wasn't getting mad about stuff like that.
I'm wondering if this movie is why I was so sex averse for so long. Like,
Because the
I
plot's so
feel like
sexualized.
there, like, there's some very like sex things that are like not happening, but like there's very sexual subtext. Like that plant was just like
Oh yeah, the plant
the
was a
little
perv.
baby plants with their tongues,
Yep.
like terrifying giant tongue vaginas.
I did not write it down, but I definitely had some very troubling thoughts about the speed of the tongues
Yes.
and potential capabilities. So yeah, no.
But yeah, just like the inside, like even like looking in, like every iteration of the plant and the inside of the plant's mouth was like a Georgia O'Keeffe, but like you're on acid, like a really
Right.
bad acid trip. Like it was like terrifying vaginas. And then like the whole scene with Bill Murray and Steve Martin.
Oh yeah,
like,
that was incredibly sexual. Yes.
that was very sexual and very fucked up.
Mhm.
Like, so you know, just gonna put that out there. Like there was just like I feel like maybe somewhere in the recesses of my mind, like as a kid, I was like, this is making me feel things.
Yeah.
Like simultaneously, like, ooh, but also like, yeah.
I was
And,
like kind of like Octavia Butler. Like I felt like she has a lot where the aliens are a little more plant-like than human-like, and they like to stick things places, you know?
yeah.
I was wondering how much of Steve Martin, how much he stole from Blue Velvet. Like if he just took
It's been too long since I've seen
Dennis
that.
Hopper and Elvis and shoved them together to come up
Yeah.
with this character. Like what exactly was happening? Does it help to know that the Bill Murray scene was filmed over 2 full days?
Jesus God. Like
And Bill
why?
Murray was ad-libbing so much that the editors were like,
And there again, I feel like, you know what? We're just gonna cut this scene.
we don't know how. I that was my favorite scene in the whole movie, so I'm really glad we cut it. That was amazing.
Yeah. Do you know who played that character? Did you see who played that character in the original movie?
No.
Jack Nicholson.
Oh, really? I think I knew that. I think I've seen that. Possibly.
Yeah, I saw that. That was in my random
Yeah.
stumblings upons, but
Yeah. So Bill Murray, he was such a submissive. And then at one point I was like, is candy bar his safe phrase? But then I realized it was not his safe phrase. It was very much like. And then after that, I wrote, man, I thought that plant was sexual.
my God. I know when he's like even like puts his arm around Steve Martin,
Mm-hmm.
like on his back, like, you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, that was very much.
Mm.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Then things started to get a little morally murky for me. So Hitman, the premise of it's based on a real person who was a teacher, but he also was good at electronics, so he would help the New Orleans Police Department with like wiretaps, but like in person, you know, where they'd have like microphones in place and stuff. So they'd be doing surveillance, and somehow this guy gets suspended. He ends up being sent in because he's heard it so many times, where he is a person that is pretending to be a hitman to basically entrap the person into hiring a hitman, right? And so he plays all these different characters. And then in the premise of the movie, he meets this woman and falls in love with her and convinces her not to take the hit so that she won't get arrested. Well, then, and I'm sorry, I'm going to ruin the movie, y'all, but it just got weirder and weirder because then at one point she actually kills her husband. And then he helps cover that up. And then they collaboratively kill the cop that got suspended, that he got the job from. And I'm like watching it and I'm like, this is just getting really weird because, like, I mean, I guess it's kind of okay that she killed him because he was a bad guy, but all of that is hearsay. So then with this, it was like, well, I guess it's okay that they're going to kill Steve Martin because he's a bad guy. Like,
But they didn't kill him. He killed himself.
well, no, he did end up killing himself. So it was a little less murky, but it was just weird because I was like, and then you get to the end of Hitman and they're like, oh, yeah, all this stuff was true except the part where they like killed that guy. We made all that up. It's just like, I didn't need that. This was a perfectly
Like,
enjoyable
the
movie.
story was compelling enough without all this
Watching
other.
this tall, handsome Texas guy pretend to be a ginger, freaky serial killer and like pretend to be Patrick Bateman and like it was, I didn't need all that. And then I got upset because he's like, take that stuff, take that makeup off and show me your face. And I was like, Breakfast Club? Why? What is all this shit about you? I don't need you in makeup. Like, she wants to wear makeup. Let her have her blue eyeshadow.
Let her wear
Whatever.
makeup. Like, that's your problem with her?
I don't even. I do know that if you were worried about a man-eating plant who is trying to kill you, that is when you leave without your suitcases. Especially when your suitcases are just going to be full of sad suits that like
Yeah. No,
don't
you
look
did.
good.
You did. You just did. Like,
Get the fuck out.
start over. I will say, when they first, like, the first dentist scene, like, when he starts singing, I was like, ah. And then when he starts actingly, like, doing dentist stuff, literally had to close my eyes.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
Dentistry
I
is
just wrote
terrifying.
down, like, I thought I wrote no PE, and I was like, no PE. And I'm like, oh, that says nope.
Nope. Yeah.
Nope. And, like, I was like,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
The sounds, anything metal scraping bone inside of heads. Ugh.
As someone who has had a massive amount of dental work in the last 2 years, yeah, like,
Yeah. I
he also, like, was giving me a little Dave Coulter.
who, the dentist? Steve Martin?
Yeah, Steve Martin. You didn't get
I
that?
can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Murray, I don't even have words. Like, that's what I wrote down. And then terrifying.
I'm going to repeat what I said. The sound design in this movie is very good. I feel like I should have actually been nominated for that, and I don't think it was.
The sound design of this podcast is not that great.
Correct. It should not be nominated for anything. I would like to laugh out loud at the plant checking for the coin return after he made that phone call because that made me laugh out loud in the movie. And then the part where they reprised Suddenly Seymour and they're belting that out. This movie would have had the perfect ending if that plant had just come over and chomped them. Like,
yeah, like that. Instead of the little baby plant, like in their dream world, like
no,
being like,
instead of Jim Belushi coming in at that moment, which is what happened, it would have been way better if the plant had just devoured them back in that alley. It would have been perfect. But no, they had to have an act 3 and figure out that the plant wanted to take over the world, whatever.
Did you ever watch that movie Moxie?
No.
That Amy Poehler did and was in, about the girls. So yeah, anyways, so it's like, basically, I mean, I had my gender woman studies class watch it. It came out a few years ago, but it's like, you know, Amy Poehler kind of produced it, wrote it, whatever, and was like, she's a single mom, and like the daughter's like, dress codes are bullshit, and like, you know, they fight back and they make a zine called Moxie, and you know,
I've seen this movie. I forgot that I've seen that movie. Please.
Okay. But there's like, one of the subplots is that one of the like sub characters is trans and want auditions for Audrey, and they won't let her play Audrey. And so, like in the movie, she does like an amazing rendition of Suddenly Seymour, like as part of like a montage part of the movie. So, which made me think that was probably the last time I heard that song, was watching Suddenly Seymour. It's a good song.
It is. Her voice is very annoying, but yes.
Yes, her voice was also annoying. She was much better in Pushing Daisies.
Yay! Good callback. And I would like to continue with the capitalism and romantic love bullshit, destroying everything.
Oh.
But letting you know that the song Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid was inspired by the song Somewhere That's Green from Little Shop of Horrors. And that, in fact, when I was telling you earlier about obnoxious teenagers singing Disney songs early on a Saturday morning to call attention to themselves, the song we were singing was Part of Your World. So we're all indoctrinated forever and ever and ever.
I remember that. I remember.
Hey, I think we agreed on this movie, so I don't have to do a mean video for you this week.
Oh, because I didn't talk about how much I hated this movie. I was really close to hating it. I was really not wanting to watch it, which is why I put it off to like the very last minute.
That's all right.
I was like, I'd rather watch Lady Jane.
Can I tell you about another way that I wasted time this week and I forgot to tell you about?
Wait, but can I ask you a question first?
Sure.
Why do I prefer Rick Moranis singing to Rick Moranis talking? Like when he first started singing, I was like, oh, dude can kind of sing.
Mm-hmm.
Never really ever want to hear him speak again. He can just sing. Like, not a Rick Moranis fan, by the way.
How often are you running into Rick Moranis where this is a problem?
Well, we've seen 2 movies with Rick Moranis at least.
Yeah.
Which is more than I can't remember who I dislike more, Rick Moranis or Martin Short, but
she's not into the short comedy kings, y'all.
I definitely dislike Gilbert Godfrey a lot more.
I think that all of those men play up the obnoxiousness of their. How you feel about Bobcat Goldthwait? Hey, it's Canada, babe. Canada Day. Take it back. He also plays up that voice. That's not a whole thing for him. That's a fake thing for him.
Yeah, I'm sure. How
you feel about Rodney Dangerfield?
Oh my God. I loved that movie though. That one where he goes back to college with his son. God damn.
Guess what movie's coming up in our summer bullshit series once we get through musicals? Back to School, baby. You just said you loved it.
As a child, I was an idiot. How many of these movies that we've rewatched that I loved as a child that I'm like mad at you for making me watch again? Like woman, yeah, when I was a child and I didn't know about feminism. Like, I don't even like Gilmore Girls as much as I used to, and I wasn't even like a fucking kid then. You think that my woke ass is gonna watch a Rodney Dangerfield movie from the 80s and be like, this is great?
Wouldn't it be weird if you were?
If I do, you better come check him, take me to get a CT because I will have had an aneurysm.
So speaking of the video, this past week I actually truly and non-ironically and non-whateverly in the integrity, honesty of my heart with joy listened to the demos from Popeye the musical multiple times. They were really fun to listen to. And it was cool to listen to because I love music, but I have a really hard time taking music apart. So it was fun to listen to somebody on a demo who was conducting the whole thing, because he'd be like, come in now, and I'd be like, oh, that's where that is, or then he'd be like, no, play it slower, no, faster than that, and like hearing them kind of work those things out, and like it was just really cool. I liked it a lot.
Will you do that with an actual real good musical at some point too, just so I don't have to
Listeners, please tell me what demos I should be listening
be concerned about. Like,
I can encourage Ryan Davis.
Ass musical and listen to the demos, like.
Well, because it's like the other demos that are out there are like the fucking Beatles, and they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, go, and then they all just play it.
It's like when I go down
that's not a demo. That's just you guys being amazing at everything. Like, that doesn't teach me anything.
That's like when I watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and then I go down some trash ass rabbit hole trying to like see what's going on with their lives. Like,
I don't think it's the same thing at all, but
I think
okay.
it's pretty close.
I
Like wasting time on
don't think me
terribleness.
trying to understand how a song is put together.
I don't think that this is the way for you to understand how a song is put together by listening to demos from the fucking Popeye movie.
What is it that you're trying to discover and learn? Are you trying to create your own life, like a
No, I mean, I guess
Housewives?
maybe it's not a great analogy, but I feel like there's better ways for you to learn how to put a song together. Why
Name
don't you
them
go
for
talk
me,
to all
'cause
those musical people in your, village, and see if they can help you figure out how to put a song together that doesn't involve listening to terrible.
I am the only person who ever lost the guitar bet with Leon. That's where Leon gives you a guitar to practice on.
No, I know. I didn't have a response to that.
And I told him when he gave it to me, I was like, I will not learn how to play this. You will be getting this back. And he was like, no, everyone I've ever given a guitar to has learned how to play it and they keep it. And I'm like, I'll see you in 6 months.
You know what? I think I actually won because he never gave me a guitar to even try to learn how to play. So
I don't think that's how bets work. You have to participate in the bet to win the bet.
I think that I won the bet because he didn't even try to get me to participate.
I don't think that's true. I think you're winning
he
at
knew he
something
would
else,
lose.
but it's not the bet.
And he was like, this one has no attention span at all. There's no way she will ever learn to play a chord.
He saw you with your drums. He knows what's up.
That was before. Yeah, if I'm not going to learn to play an instrument just to hang out with a really hot guy, like, I'm certainly not going to learn to play the guitar to impress Leon.
Drumming. Chipotle. Drumming.
I dreamed about him the other night.
You what?
I had a dream about him the other night.
That's weird.
I hope he's well. I think he's well.
I'm sure he's fine. Thank you. That's it for this episode.
No, that's not it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, shit. That's the last thing I wrote down.
Oh. And wouldn't that be funnier if it were Little Richard?
Oh, that was pretty good still. Like, despite
oh, shit. Thank you.
When you start feeding a plant blood, how do you not see it going sideways? Like, I'm sorry. Like, nothing that happened should have been shocking.
I don't think people are that smart on Skid Row. Where they're climbing up fences to attack each other. Thank you. That's it for this episode of I Love You But. Join us next week when we discuss a musical that Rian claims that she actually likes.
Who knows?
The Sound of Music. And before you even start, I do not have time to edit out any singing. And if this thing ever makes money, I'm not paying money for rights. So just don't.
What do I get, like 2 seconds before we have to pay?
No, nothing. Zip, zero, zilch. Everybody knows those songs. What made you laugh? What if I just come on next week and I just read the whole Pauline Kael review of Sound of Music? That's all I do. No matter what you say, I just quote another Pauline Kael.
Speaking of copyright infringement, like intellectual property rights.
What did we forget? No, it's actual copyright. But I'm pretty sure she posted it in the New York Times, so I don't really give a shit right now.
So then that's like libel. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Are you sure you teach high school? I'm worried about you.
I know it's not.
What should we talk about in future episodes? It doesn't really matter because we got it all planned out for the rest.
We got the whole fucking thing planned out until the day we die.
Don't want to know your thoughts? Find us on Instagram and Threads at I Love You But Pod, or email us at iloveyoubutpod@gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes. And hey, be sure to rate, review, and follow I Love You But, the Davis Sisters podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening. I'm Heather.
I'm Rian, and we wish you lots and lots of conditional love. Down on Skin.